Hey YouTube, I know it's almost 2022, but Garry's Mod is still one of my most played games. Today, I'm going to show you how to make a Garry's Mod dedicated server for you, your friends, or you can open it up to whoever you want. To start, you're going to want to go to this website. I'll leave a link in the description below. Depending on what you have, I'm going to go over the Windows description. I've never downloaded it on Linux or Mac, but I'm sure it's pretty straightforward as well. But download SteamCMD. Just click the Windows and it'll take you right down there. So you click this right here, this link, and it downloads that. Now go ahead and go to one of your hard drives and make a folder of what you'd want it to be called. So I already have one, but I'll make a new one. Go into that folder and paste that RAR file. Go ahead and right click and extract. It should give you the SteamCMD right here. Go ahead and double click that and open it. It's going to download all the files necessary. Once done, it should come up with this screen right here. If you happen to X out of that screen, you can reopen it just by double clicking the same file. The first thing you're going to want to do is log in anonymous. Once you've done that, you're going to type in app_update 4020. 4020 is just the game ID for Garry's Mod, and validate. Go ahead and click enter. And what it's doing right now is it's pretty much just installing Garry's Mod again, but for your server. Depending on your internet speed, it could take a while. Once completed, you can just exit out of this. If you go to SteamApps, Common, there's your GarrysModDS right there, which is your server. This right here is going to be an important file. You're going to want to actually copy that. Once copied, you can go ahead and open it. And it'll open this. This is where you can set your server name, your map, which I'll show you how to install new maps. We'll just do Flatgrass for now. Internet or LAN, you're going to want to do internet if you're trying to play with friends that aren't in your same network. Your max players, make that whatever amount you want in there, or you can just go crazy and have all 32. If your computer can handle it, of course. And then this port right here, the 27015, you're going to want to port forward that. To port forward that, you're going to go to whatever your router's login is. Sometimes it's like 192.168.1.1 or whatever the case. If you look at the back of your router, it should say what the login information is. Mine is going to be 10.0.0.1, and that's through my internet provider Xfinity. And you can just go ahead and log into that. And with Xfinity, it's a little different. So when I go to port forward, it actually has me do it on their own website right here, which I already have brought up over here. So this is like on their own website, something new that I haven't seen other than Xfinity do. But you just go ahead and port forward. So you do add port forward. So you can go ahead and select the device for me. But how it should be on yours potentially is you would want to type in your computer's IP address. And then you can do manual setup. And then your port number would be 27015. And you'd make that TCP UDP. And I already have it set, but you would just click next or add or whatever the case. But you want to make sure it's TCP and UDP. When you've done that, you're all set to go. Real quick will show you how to set your own IP address or find your IP address. So if you go to your network and internet settings, this is just under settings right here. You can click Ethernet or Wi-Fi, whatever the one is connected to. I'm connected to Ethernet, and it'll say right here what your IP address is. This is based off Windows 11. I believe Windows 10 is very similar. What I would do so that the IP address never changes is I would set it up manually. So I would do manual, IPv4 IP address, set that as your IP address. The subnet mask is usually 255.255.255.0. Set that to whatever it should be. The gateway is going to be what you use to log into the router. So mine was 10.0.0.1. And the IP address is going to be about the same thing. It's going to be, for example, mine's 10.0.0, and it's going to be dot whatever and up until 254, I believe. So I choose 125. It's just a number that sticks with me. For example, yours might be 192.168.1. Whatever you want it to be. And their gateway might be 192.168.1.1. I know that's another popular one. Your DNS, you can use your Google's DNS, or you can use the DNS that was already stored. So mine happened to already be 75, 75, 75, 75, and then 75, 75, 76, 76. I just left it the same it was. I looked it up and I typed it in myself. I know some people use the Google's DNS, which is like 4422 or something. You can just Google that, Google DNS. Okay, it's 8888. And then I think the other one's 8844. Yeah. And that would be the DNS for Google. I know some people change their PlayStation DNS, for example, because it increases their internet speed. So once you have a static IP address and you port forward it, you can type a password in if you want. I would leave the anti-cheat on and you just click start server. Alright, I guess you need a password. So just go ahead and type anything. I will just type a password in. Start server. Now it's going to start the dedicated server. This pops up, allow access. You can allow as public as well, depending on how you have your Ethernet set up. And technically, you're all set to go already. You can see the players you have in here. This is your console. You can put commands in the console right here to set you as like an admin or something. And people can connect to you. Now when you log into Garry's Mod, I can show you that real quick of how you would connect to your own server. Now when you open Garry's Mod, you would go to find multiplayer game, and you can go under local network, and it's actually going to show your network right here. I have it as test. You can click it and you would join. And as you can see, I'm in a server. It's a very bland server. There's nothing added to it. It's just a plain old server. Now you could have went to the Steam overlay and invited your friends while you were in the server, but if for some reason you can't do that, or you just don't want to do that, you can also have them connect to you directly. To have them do that, you would go ahead and click options, and then have them click the key to the left of the number 1. I think it's called like the title or the tittle key or something like that. And it will bring up this console. If it doesn't bring up this console, I believe you can enable that. To enable that in options, you would have them go to advanced down here and enable developer console. Then click OK and apply. Once you open that, you would go back to your server right here, and you would go to console, and there's your public IP right there. So you would copy that and you would give it to them to type in. And how they would type that in is they would go back to this screen and they would type in connect. They would paste in an IP address that's your public IP, and then put a little colon 27015, which is your port forward, and then they just click enter. But let's say you want to add workshop items. So we'll go ahead and quit Garry's Mod. We'll go ahead and exit the server, stop it. And with that copy that you made, I leave mine on the desktop. You can put it wherever you want, but I'm going to go ahead and put that to the desktop. As you can see, I already have one right here from my other server. You can rename it whatever you want. And you would come here to the Garry's Mod workshop collections. You can see everyone else's collections, but what you would do is you would create your own collection, give it a title, image, description, whatever it is. You can choose whatever category you want, and you would save and continue. I already have one. So what mine is called Garry's Mod Add-ons, collection by me. Now what I would do is, for example, I'd go to all these add-ons that I would add to it, and when you open it, let's say you find one, you wanted to add the crossbow right here, you would subscribe to it, and then you would click add to collection, and you would click your collection, and you do that for as many add-ons as you want. Now, what you'll need to do is once you've done all this, you will have to click subscribe to all, and you'll have to have your friends and whoever's going to join click subscribe to all. It just makes it easier sometimes when you don't click subscribe to all and you try logging into your server, it will lag up or just not let you log in at all because it's trying to download so many things at once. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but for the best way to make it work is just have everyone click subscribe to all. Now the next step you want to do is you want to come to this link right here, and I'll leave that in the description below. And it's going to give you a key. I blurred mine out for obvious reasons. If it doesn't give you a key right away and it tells you to make a domain, you just type in a name. Like I typed in Alex Cordell and then I click create. And it gives you this key. Now you're going to remember that key, and you want to come back to your collection and you're going to remember this ID right here. And I'll leave a description down below of how to type all this in, but you would come to your shortcut that you made and click properties. I actually did mess up one step. So to make it an actual shortcut, you don't want to copy and paste it. That was my mistake. So go ahead and delete that one, and you're going to actually right click on this, show more options, and you're going to send to desktop create shortcut. So now it has that little arrow there, meaning it's an actual shortcut. So what you would do is you right click, click properties, and it will come up with these things right here. So for your target, you're gonna keep it exactly like this so it goes to your original folder. Yours might say differently, whatever, however you named it, but just like that. Then you're gonna wanna put a space, a dash authkey, space, and you're gonna want to copy and paste that authentication key that you made. I'm just gonna type random numbers, space, and then you're gonna wanna do plus host underscore workshop underscore collection space, and you wanna go ahead and type that number in or copy and paste that I showed you from the workshop items from your collection. So the first one would be this your auth key, and the second one would be this little ID right there. Then space, and this next one is just gonna make it so your game doesn't crash from being too filled with add-ons. I've had it to where I have too many add-ons and the game just crashes because it doesn't have enough allocation or something. So you would just type plus R underscore hunk alloc light maps space 0. And that's it. You click apply and you click OK. And then now when you run your server, you always want to run it from this shortcut because it'll update all the workshop add-ons that you added. If you run it from this one, it won't run with those workshop items. So when you click this and it brings up everything like this and you click start, it's going to take a long time for your first one, depending on how many of those workshop add-ons you have, because one, it's going to download all the workshop items for your Steam, and then two, it's also going to download them all for your server. So it could take 10-15 minutes for it to start up. Just don't click it, it will eventually start. So for example, I'll actually run mine right here. And it'll say starting dedicated server, and I haven't ran mine in a little bit, so it might actually take a little bit. But all it is doing is installing all those workshop add-ons that you had. You can even use my collection if you wanted. As you can see, it took about 50 seconds for mine, which was even a little longer than expected because mine are already installed. But yours might take 10-15 minutes to install all of them. But once it's up, you're ready to go. You can jump right in like I showed you before, invite your friends, have your friends join you, and you're set, and you'll have all those add-ons. So I'll actually show you in mine again how it should look with my add-ons. Also, don't be surprised when you open this up for the first time after subscribing to those add-ons if it just lags up like crazy installing all those. But when I go to mine now, so because of all my add-ons, it did take a little while for it to load, but as you can see, it's already different. So when I go and press Q, you can see I have a bunch of new things now. These are all the add-ons that I've added. And you can spawn them, play with them. and do whatever you want with them. And as long as you and your friends have all added the Steam Workshop collection, they will be able to do the same exact things and use all of them as well. Now, one last thing, I will show you how to add different maps, so you're not always on flat grass. So you're going to X out of this, stop server. There are two ways to install maps. One way is to go to GarrysMod.org or whatever website that might have it, and you'll see all these maps. Download scary maps or McDonald's, or I mean, it's endless pretty much how many maps are out there. And you would just click it, whatever one it is you wanted, and download. You'd have to sign in through your Steam, and it will download the add-on or the map right there. There it is. Then you'd go to that, and you'd cut it, and you would go to your Garry's Mod, and you go to Maps, right here. You can organize it a little better if you want, but you just paste it in there, and it'll give you this BSP and this navigation file right there. And what you would do is you'd go ahead and take those and you'd paste them right into your maps. Now, what you would also need to do is you would need to go to where your Garry's Mod game is actually installed. So this is where my actual game is installed and not the server side. And I would do the same thing. I would come here and I'd go to maps, and I have a lot of maps in this one, but I would do the same thing. I'd take it and I would paste it over. That way it doesn't have to download the map or try to download the map when you start the server. So now, if you go to your server, you'll see right there, it's a drop-down option. Click that, start server, and you're good to go. There is one other way to download maps though. So let's say you wanted to download maps from the workshop. It's a little trickier, but it can be done. So it's not just as easy as adding it to the collection and have it download. So what you would actually do is you would go to this website right here. You would find the map that you wanted, so let's just say Sunset Island, and you would click that. You'd copy this, you paste it right there, and you would download it. Let's say starting download, retrieving, prepared, sending. So you can take that, and you put it in your server, and when you open it, it'll have these. Not everyone has models and materials. This one does. So what you would do is just match the folder. So maps goes into maps, and you would do this twice. You would do this for your server, and you would do it for your actual game. And then materials, you would go back to Garry's Mod, and you would find materials. So it looks like materials actually not added. So you would just drag the whole folder in there. You would take the whole folder and you would just make a new folder called materials, or drag the whole folder in there. Now all your materials will go to this. And then you got models. And you do the same thing. You just put models right into here. And then you'd go ahead and do the same thing for your folder. And then when you start up the game, it's going to show that new map, GM Sunset. And that's pretty much it for the most part. There is one other thing too that you can go ahead and edit. So that would be in here under your server. You go to steamapps, common, your server file. You click Garry's Mod, you click CFG, and under here it says server, the CFG file server. By default, it's going to be absolutely nothing. So I will actually go ahead and link mine, but I'll show you real quick what it is. So this is my server file right here. And all it is it sets like limits and the max file size and all this stuff. And it just allows, you know, for example, max props. I put down that there can be almost 1,000 max props on my map at one time. Your computer might not be able to handle that, but that is what I had to allow. So by default, yours would not be 999. It would just be what the default is. I also have it so NPCs can be spawned, God mode can be used. I change player God and people damage whenever I want it enabled. I have I have no clip enabled, so 1 is on, 0 is off pretty much, and that's pretty much it. So I'll go ahead and actually leave this down below as an example that you can run off, and you just change it. So you can change your password, you can change your server name, this is your region, if you want it to be LAN, log file, the no clip speed, no clip accelerate. This SV cheats allows you to use some of the add-ons. I would leave that on and just go from there. And you can always add on different things, or you can just Google server files for Garry's Mod, and there'll probably be a bunch of examples of how to set this up, or custom ones that you can actually just use. So yeah, after all that, you are set up to use your Garry's Mod server. You can play with your friends, you can set the game mode from sandbox to prop hunt or whatever the case may be. If this tutorial was helpful, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and go ahead and leave a comment and let me know if there's any other questions you have about maybe how to set up different servers for different games, or some more in-depth details about Garry's Mod. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.